everyone. This is Nichelle Anderson. I'm your host of my podcast show, Nichelle Anderson Short Stories and Beyond. Today is June the 22nd, 2020, my summer break, that I go ahead and release one podcast episode for the month during my summer months, which is June, July, and August, and then I'll return back in the fall in September. So thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for following my season 3 podcast show that just ended in May, on May the 25th, 2020 for season 3. Okay, that was 2019 to 2020 there. So let's go ahead and get started. I kind of make these summer bonus episodes very short there. So let's just gonna jump into it. I like to do a recap of the last season 3. And I just want to kind of go over a couple of things, and just kind of, since I might not got a chance to really talk about it during the season year, I take this moment to kind of get into that in June at least, when I start my summer time off for, doing the episodes more frequently during the regular season. So some of the things I want to talk about is the stage play. I really hyped that up a lot because I've been planning to really bring out more of the characters that I introduced starting this podcast show in 2017. And prior to 2017, all the way from 2013 is where I started to really kind of put it out there on my Facebook page from MOLIAE that I wanted to do a prestige return of a stage play that's more bigger production with more characters. So the dates had to change. And the new dates, it's going to be February the 27th and the 28th, 2021. So that's next year. And it happened to be actually 4 days from W.B. Du Bois' birthday. I like to say that because he's one of my role models there. I really love all of his work. So it kind of worked out in that way. And I want to talk about, kind of fast forward, of the character profiles that I did during season 3. I really took the time to kind of touch on each of those that would have been highlighted in the play and the prestige return of the stage play. And so you can still go back. It's still, I think, it's a great way to house the type of focus on the characters that I would be talking about or presenting on stage. And some of those main characters, of course, was Nahara, the King Damal, King Danielle. Some of you that's been following me for a while, familiar with those. Touching on the Orions, Kishi. Kishi is showing up in the play, so that's a good relation to that. That's tied into Hani, that's from the podcast series. So at any rate, those are some of the things that I did in season 3 that I'm really glad that I did. So go back and check those character profiles. I started in the beginning of January of 2020 all the way up, leading up to the closing out month of my podcast, which is in May. The other things I did was focus on Nahara, the future series. Now I'm calling the future series only from the standpoint of the podcast timeline. So it's 2 timelines. So the book that started all of this, that led to MOLIAE, Moments of Love in Ancient Egypt, the theatrical production, it was my book Mitzrayim, a memoir. You can get that on Barnes & Noble. You can get it on Amazon and any other bookstores. My book Mitzrayim, a memoir. And from that timeline is Princess Amelia. That's the timeline of the prestige return of the stage play that's going to be, everybody's focusing on it in a sense, for it to happen in February next year in 2021, the dates that I mentioned. And so you have that timeline, and then you have from the timeline of the podcast is before the book, the podcast series, the podcast show that you're listening to now is before that moment of the book where she's at a certain age and she's about to be married and all these other things coming into play from the deal. The deal was seeded before really the time of the book and during the era of the podcast series that basically focus on mainly King Milan, that's the current ruler of Mitzrayim, Kemet, and Queen Hagar. Now, from that standpoint, when I started this podcast in 2017 and 2018, when I came back in 2019 to focus on the future series of Nahar and Princess Amina, where I highly recommend you go and you check out those episodes. Listen to that, download it, share it. That starts from basically September of 2019 all the way towards the end of 2019 in December. There's 7 bonus collection in the future series of Nahar and Princess Amina. And that timeline is advancing forward where Queen Hagar finally has the baby and Amina is on the scene. It's still before the time of the book, because time of the book she's about 19. So now we focus on the childhood of this retrospect here, and those episodes bonus of 7 are very good, so I highly recommend that you go back. It really opened up a lot of avenues that I didn't get to see when I wrote the book. All right, so I'm glad that I took the time to kind of do that, set that off, and then I did my director clip notes, and then I went into the character profile. So that's basically what all took place in season 3. So you have time this summer, go through that and really listen to the future series of Nahar and Princess Amina. There's a lot of good nuggets in there, a lot of good reveal, and I think you would definitely enjoy it. So let's go on and talk about the future plans for my podcast show. And for that, the future plans for my podcast show basically is going to aim to, as I said before, but really focus on more interviews. I actually did some of those interviews already when I was prepping for my stage play to happen back in April, but of course that did not, and so its future now is pushed out to February of next year. So I do plan to do more guest interviews from the cast, from different people a part of the project, either from music or even filming it or what have you, and stuff like that. That's planned. So I do plan to do a lot of guest interviews, mainly the cast. Most of those interviews is pretty much will be ongoing, and some that's already been done. We just haven't released it yet because we didn't get to do the play, but going forward, as we're aiming to the new date, that will be released. So look forward to that. And look forward to some more character reveal, some secrets about different characters, as I'm trying to build this up similar to like a canon of MOLIAE, so you will get to see that. Also the web comics, I'm coming out to do a comic book. That's going to be the new announcement that I normally start off and announce that on Facebook, so stay tuned for that. And a short series, I'm using Webtoons as the platform to release the web comics. Right now, of course, we're focusing on the plan was to get it out today, so if you do see a release, yay! If you see an update that we're changing the date, just stay tuned to that. That will be separately announced. But the web comics are coming. We're coming out with a comic type platform to bring these characters to life in a comics type form. Also, the aim is to expand our Discord server. It's a community platform where we can break everything down, all the projects, all the characters, the MOLIAE world, as we're calling it, where we can talk about the apps, talk about the playing games, talk about the playing other events, the stage play. Again, as of right now, which to me, as I'm looking at this, I still want to do this one more time, and then I'm going to focus on more theatrical things and the podcast shows. So the stage play, once I finally do get that on stage there, and we do this February 27th to the 28th, 2021, that's basically going to be it for me to do it on stage, right? So that's the ticket. That's what you want to tie into, and then we could talk about that on that Discord server. So it will be an invite link that you'll copy and paste into a browser. It'll tell you to verify your email, what have you, and you just go forward and you can jump right on in and start a conversation with other people that's following MOLIAE. This is a great way to kind of tie in all the characters, their motives, their powers, or their background, their relationship. Get really into it. So join our Discord server and invite someone else that would be interested in MOLIAE, that's basically touching on ancient Egypt. All right, so I want to talk about now my next one, where you did, it's called here, Did You Know? What I want to call it is Did You Know segment. And if you didn't know, I'm going to tell you. And then also promote as well the podcast and other things associated with MOLIAE. So the first thing is, did you know that if you follow MOLIAE on Facebook, that's facebook.com/MOLIAE, that's where you will see YouTube MOLIAE. You click that, that's going to list at least 20 of the last podcast episodes that I did in order. So go to MOLIAE, go to facebook.com/MOLIAE, follow the page, like the page, share the page, click on YouTube, MOLIAE. It's a column to the left if you're on some type of computer. If you're on your mobile device, you might have to kind of rearrange it a bit or scroll down and see how you can get to the list of available sections on the page, and you will see a direct link to our YouTube channel that lists all of the podcast shows that I list on YouTube. And please join our YouTube channel as well, but definitely that's how you can go back and see if I miss a segment, I could just go there and bam, there it is. All right. Also, just to kind of reiterate, the YouTube and MOLIAE on Facebook, and we're on Twitter, so please follow us on our social platform. I really trying to increase that as much as possible, and that can help. All right, so I want to go ahead and close out my summer bonus for today, and it's a quote that I want to give to everybody. And my quote today is that our sense of time only prepares us after we take the first step into the unknown. Just think about that for a moment and see how that can apply to your life going forward. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in today, and I just want to ask everyone, continue to like the podcast episodes, share it with someone, and follow us via Spreaker. There should be a link to say you can follow this page. You might have to log in, create an account, but it doesn't take that long. If you love this and you like it and you want to continue on, let me see other people that I do see the numbers on the back end that you really do want to go that extra step. Click that you like it, follow it, share it with someone, and join our Discord server. All right, thank you so much, and happy summer.